Monica, can you call some people? We want to get to our final bit for today before the fun really starts with a welcome dinner. Monica, and then we still need Sharon and Jerry. Okay, so Sharon, we have also a spot for you in the front, and then we're only missing Jerry. Okay. Again, welcome everybody. We're a little bit late, behind schedule, so we will try to do it as good as we can, but also as quick as we can, because somehow we have a tight schedule with the welcome dinner later today offered by the Portuguese Federation, something that you and we for sure do not want to miss. Welcome in our General Assembly. We have already had some interesting sessions today with the details of the education program, of the legal system, and so on. So it's nice to see you all back, as I mentioned already early in the afternoon. As I mentioned before, good to see everybody back here face to face. The General Assembly is traditionally looking back at the previous year, and that's also on the agenda today. So we will talk about the past, about 2022, the things we have been doing to serve the club, and we will also talk about 2023 and the things we are planning to focus on for the near future. Looking back to the previous year, however, it's always very sad that we always need to look back to some times where we have lost people. And that also happened to us as a club. Earlier today, we mentioned already Marco, who is a very recent incident, and very sad news from the past few days. But also last year, we have been receiving bad news. First of all, we look back at Willem Luiten, our previous president, who sadly passed away. But there are, besides Willem, there are also other FEI officials, other persons apart from the now current members that have left, unfortunately, our community. We think, for example, about Arno Gego, who is also a well-known FEI official. There's also Hanno Doon, who has been contributing a lot to our environment. We have lost also in the Netherlands Joop van Dijk. Joop has also been a board member of the club. Most recently, in the end of the year, there was François Lyon, and as we mentioned already earlier today, sadly, also Marco. Besides these names, we are quite convinced that everybody individually have lost some dears and some beloved ones also through the past year. And to pay them a tribute, I would like to invite you to stand up and have a moment of silence. Thank you very much, and for sure those are people that we will never forget. Today the General Assembly, and as I've been elected last year as President for the IJOC, I will be sharing this or leading this General Assembly. We have the appointment of scrutineers, so we have two people, and we would propose Lonnie Robinson, and we also have Mark Dusomos, that we asked if they would be volunteering to be scrutineer and to look at the progress of our meeting. So Mark, you're there at the side, and Lonnie, okay, you're here, yeah. So both of them will be looking back at what we have been doing, and if we need to vote, they will make sure that we count correctly. We have 109 people that originally were entered for our General Assembly. When we did the registration, out of those 109, we have been counting 102 that are eligible to vote. We might have a few people missing, but we will stick to that number as the baseline for our General Assembly. We shared the agenda of our meeting already a few weeks ago, and this one will be followed according to the statutes here in our General Assembly. Registration of members present and proxies, so we didn't receive any proxies, which means that we can stick to that number of 102. Everybody okay with that one? No objections whatsoever? Okay, thank you. First of all, there are the minutes of the General Assembly as of last year, as we do on a yearly basis. They have been published, of course, on our website and also shared last year after the meeting. Are there any comments to be made on those minutes of last year's General Assembly meeting, which was a virtual one? No comments. Okay, thank you. So I can assume that this is also then approved, endorsed. Everybody agrees? No objections? If you want to object, please raise your hand, or if you want to abstain as well. Okay, thank you. Which brings us already to point 7 of our agenda, but quite an important one, because as I opened the General Assembly, I referred to the fact that, first of all, we want to give a look back at 2022, and therefore I would like to hand it over to Ali as our Secretary General, who will report and comment on the activities of the past year.
Thank you, Glenn. Once again, welcome everybody on my behalf and on behalf of our board as well. Just one housekeeping note before we start. For tomorrow, as you know, we have the FEI course for judges. However, immediately after the course for the judges, we have an updated program, and we do have the presentation of the FEI Ethics and Equine Wellbeing Commission. So please, after the course and the test, please remain in the room as much as possible, because then we will immediately have the presentation from the FEI group of colleagues. Thank you. Coming back to the annual activity report of our board for this year, I would like to present you first starting with the number of board meetings. Now, as you know, in the past, we used to have a little bit less. However, now that the pandemic has turned us around, and now we have been using the Zoom application, we did have 13 board meetings, depending on the requirements and the density of our agenda. And they were all Zoom meetings, except for this one that we have already conducted in person. Group meetings attended at the FEI level during the year. There was one, but an important one, because that was regarding the Olympic Games for 2024. It was an online working session, which we participated as IJOC, as one of the stakeholders of the FEI. In terms of the surveys, maybe most of you will remember, in the past we used to run surveys immediately after our General Assembly, simply because we would like to get the feeling of our participants and members how it was run, the in-person I'm talking about. However, now that we had the pandemics in between for the last 3 years, we did not have this survey. However, instead of that, this year we had shared with you, our members, the FEI Equine Ethics and Wellbeing Commission survey, which you have responded, which we have summarized and shared with the FEI. About rule changes. As you know, by standard process, every year we as IJOC are involved as an official stakeholder of the FEI in collegating, consolidating, and presenting to the FEI our position on rule changes. That includes obviously the jumping rules, but from time to time the veterinary regulations as well. So this year we had 9 jumping rules and 1 veterinary rule regulation update, which has already been shared with the FEI. Webinars. This is something that we were proud of this year because we have focused on increasing the number of webinars for the IJOC, simply because of the fact that we have seen the benefit for our members, and the feedback from our members was pretty positive, considering the online environment. In January, we started already with 3 sessions. The 2 of them was on rule changes, presented by Stefan Ellenbruch and Francis Haskett-Jones-Trulzi. And also there was one in January, and that was regarding the snaffles and bits, presented by Sprenger. So already the first month was pretty full, and we needed some time to organize the rest of the webinars. So we went until May, where we first started with the FEI organization and legal procedures post-competition by Michael Rentsch. You've seen a very similar version today on his presentation as well. In August, we had the FEI IT applications presented by Victoria Reedborn. That was the first time that we heard about an FEI tech app. And we were happy that this is rolling and it's coming. And accordingly, we had some even applications that we were maybe not really using 100%. So it was a very good checkup for ourselves that where we were in terms of using the IT applications of the FEI. And again, another one in August was the case studies. First time this year, we only separated the groups to main sessions of 6. And again, for the first time, we shared all the cases with the members so that everybody see what the other group was talking about and discussing. So we thought that was a good practice, and we are planning to continue on that one. Of course, in between, we had in September the veterinary rules and applications by Goran Ackerstrom. That was also a very good feedback that we received from the members. Immediately followed was the case studies final of these 6 groups. And that was summarized by Stefan Ellenbruch and Francis Haskett-Jones-Trulzi again. And that was one of the highest number of attendees during the year, because we know that that was interesting. And we would like to continue that in future as well. Comes November, and we had equine transport. I don't know how many of you were able to join that. However, we are already planning a developed version of this one, because some of the points that were highlighted there, although from a veterinary perspective, was really, really interesting to listen to. I hope you, almost all of you, were able to see that. In case you missed it, please go onto our website. All our webinars are available there to be live. You can log in and watch anytime you want. So, this is one of the items that we were proud of. As I mentioned, the 6 case study seminars were already highlighted. Then comes the information on our webinar videos. I already mentioned that they're available as real live on the website. for those who could not make it at the original time. A footnote maybe for our overseas colleagues. Please rest assured that we are trying our best to fit the time zones of the world. You can imagine that it is not always so easy, but believe me, we're trying our best, and we will continue to try our best to find some slots that fits most of our members. Live streaming. We had more than 11 hours this year of live streaming that included our webinars. Since the number of webinars was high, live streaming was also high. Some words about communication and statistics. Now, as you know, although the websites or internet maybe is not one of the highest, highly used channels these days, however, as for our members, we still need to follow the statistics. If we look at the number of visits per country, that's when we are talking for the top 10 countries and which members have clicked and entered our website. Don't forget that's number of visits. So if you exit and you click again, that counts too. So, a small comparison between 2021 and 22 is for the number of visits. As you see, the blue line is actually for this year, sorry, 2022. And the yellow line is for 2021. We see a small decrease of 2022 towards the end of this year. And we believe there are certain reasons, either for election purposes, etc. But normally towards the end of the year, activity increases. Maybe we did not have videos for the election candidates this year. Maybe that was the reason. However, this is just speaking for itself, and that's what we have in terms of the data. Some words about the membership growth. Now we have to continue with statistics and seeing how many members we have over the last 4 and 5 years. This year we closed with 367, and I can also talk about the number of countries in the membership base, and the end result was 72, which is actually distributed in the following way geographically. Of the 72, 32 is in Europe, 15 in Americas, 6 in Africa, 4 in the Middle East, and 13 in Australia and Asia. And that was data as of 19th of December last year. Some words about regional comparison. That's in total number of membership, how many percentage or number is in each region. So you can see starting off with Europe, 234, Americas having 71, Asia, Oceania, 30, Middle East, 18, and Africa, 15. At this point, I'm also looking at my colleagues, especially regarding the regional representatives. Obviously, the aim here is to increase the regional representation of the IJOC in also developing areas. That's also one of our homework that is connected to strategic planning group and the regional representatives. If we list the top 10 countries by membership, USA stands on the first place with 26 members from one country. And overall, you can see from Germany down to Sweden, the total numbers for the top 10 countries only. However, what is significant here is I must highlight the top 10 countries constitute 52% of the total membership. Some words about strategic planning working group. Most of you might have known that already through your regional representatives, that we have reinitiated the efforts for the strategic planning group this year. And I'm sorry, I keep saying this year. That should be 2022. A communications audit company was commissioned to analyze the current status and key development areas to grow our membership base, as well as the brand awareness of the IJOC. Simply put, we would like to increase our membership base among FEI officials, and how to do that was one of these channels. Secondly, we had a new group of IJOC regional representatives. They have been approved. They have already done their kickoff meeting, and they're already rolling with lots of targets in hand to bring added value to our regions. What have we done in terms of strategic partnerships during 2022? The major ones are listed here only. Of course, with the FEI, besides from our normal regulation, we had the General Assembly attendance in Cape Town, which was an integral part of the remuneration of officials process. I will come to that later. The Sports Forum representation in Lausanne, our board has been represented there. In addition to that, there were obviously numerous meetings held during the year regarding the remuneration and other subjects with the FEI. Coming to the European Federation, we did attend in their jumping working group meetings. That was also including the rule revisions. And you know, at some times you might need a joint voice to make your voice heard better, and this was one of them, the cooperations, as well as the jumping consultation roundtable that was attended by IJOC. The equestrian organizers, there were numerous meetings, mainly because of the remuneration of officials rule change proposal. Not only the phone calls, but in-person meetings, online meetings, etc. So they were all bundled together. Remuneration of officials. I am confident that most of you are already aware of that, but for us in 2022, this was definitely one of the highlights and one of the most important tasks that the IJOC board has taken over. It has been a long process. However, at the end, together with a joint proposal of the equestrian organizers, we have come up with a proposal that includes the role and responsibility differentiation, as well as the level of show differentiation regarding the remuneration of the FEI officials. Finally, on the 13th of November 2022, at the FEI General Assembly, the proposal was approved by the voting national federations. Therefore, has been some changes in the article number 200 regarding the per diems of our jumping officials. So you don't see that 120 euro anymore in the text. Instead, you have this table. For those who have not seen it yet, this is a matrix table that differentiates the role and responsibility of the officials, as well as the level of the shows. So if you follow the columns, for example, that on the left-hand side, you can see the level of the shows starting from championships down to CSI Pony, whereas if you go towards the right, according to the function of the official, the per diem is differentiated. Now, this is already an ongoing process, and one of the duties of our IJOC board in this year is also to follow up on fine-tuning, if necessary, of this table. However, just please note that this is now already approved and in the rule, jumping rules, inside the jumping rules text. Communication continued for the president. During the year, of course, there were a lot of communications, either regarding the remuneration or other topics. We already mentioned that one of them was the survey for the equestrian ethics and well-being. Another one was about jumping rule revisions, which we touched base with you, our members, during the year and asked what you think and collected for your proposals. We had 3 president's blogs regarding those matters, including the remuneration as well. And finally, we had the Paris 2024 communication as conveyed to you earlier in the year. These were the emails coming from the president to you during the year. At this point, I would like to ask if there are any questions regarding the annual activity report. All right. If there are no questions, can I go to your approval? First of all, anybody against? Or any abstentions regarding the activity report of 2022? Thank you. I consider this as approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ali. So that was the activity report. And of course, this also reflects itself in financials. My voice is a little bit louder than the one from Ali, be careful. And I hand it over to Laura, our treasurer.
Thank you, Glenn. So I'm here to present the financial performance of the IJOC from 2022. So at first we start looking at the balance from 31st of December 2021. So we started with the amount of €80,361.61. Then, of course, we had a budget to work with for this year, for the last year, that I should say, and that was 25,000, which was the membership fee, and that was already a bit higher than the year before, but we wanted to grow, of course, with our memberships. And, well, we almost succeeded this 25,000 because we received €24,533.65. We had some interest, and what we also received already this year was the payments you already did in 2022 for the seminar where we are now. So that was €14,572, and that adds up to €39,133.60, which we received. Here you can see the budget where we worked with, and I'm going to explain a little bit more in detail on the next sheet. But here you can see that we calculated, we did a budget for 6,000 for the General Assembly of 2023 on 6,000. But then we also have to add up other things we have put in the budget, like the webinars and the General Assembly of last year, 6,000. 4,000 for the board meetings, and on the bottom you can see the in-person maintenance courses where we also put 3,000, and if you add those up then you have 19,000 on the budget, and on the right side you can see that we spent €18,131.01. So for for EEF, Sports Forum and the FVI, General Assembly and meetings, we thought we were going to spend €1,500. Instead of that, we spent more, €5,503, and that was because there were a lot of meetings, most of them were also in Lausanne, where, of course, there were meetings about the remuneration, and therefore it cost a bit of money extra, and also for the General Assembly in Cape Town. The secretary, Ali, he didn't put his invoice for this year, so we didn't have any costs over there, but we had a little spent unforeseen 507, and we'll see on the next sheet what that was for. Of course, we had the transaction costs, we had website cost a little bit more than we budgeted, and we had this communications audit company for the IJOC promotion campaign. So we spent $28,565.20. Here again you can see what we received. So for the membership, we already had some payments in 2021. We always say that October 1st is like the deadline, so it was paid after October 1st, 2021. Then you see the payments by bank for the membership fee, the payments by PayPal, and that adds up to 24,000. Then you can also see again the officials forum, where you did already the payments and the interest on the bank. So adding up all that was €39,133.60. And here you can see what we spent it on a little bit more into detail. So the General Assembly, you see the tutors and the webinar, €880. The internet, for the Zoom, we have, of course, payments. The website costs money. everything adds up to 1,725 euro. The General Assembly, I already told you, we have had some payments, and those payments, of course, are here for the room, for the lunch, for the coffee breaks, etc., for these, the AV, the techniques, etc. We had some preparations done when I was in Lisbon last October, so there was a small spend, and we have bought some gifts, which you have seen already. We presented them to Ingmar de Vos and the others. So here we come to the details on the spendings of for EEF and the FEI Sports Forum. We have, of course, a contribution for EEF. We had one person going to the Sports Forum, and Ali Kuchuk, he went to the General Assembly in Cape Town, and of course that cost also money. And that was very important because he was there and also Jerry was there. And they did quite some lobbying for the remuneration and the change in the payments for us. And of course we are very happy that in the end, also after some meetings they had, Glenn Maas went to Lausanne, Ali went to Lausanne, and they had some meetings also with the organizers, and well, we are very happy and proud that they succeeded. Then there's this IJOC promotion campaign, a little spend for that. That's the communication, the audit, which we did, this company did for us. And the unforeseen, that is the testimonial for Willem Luiten. Of course, we handed over that to him in March in 2022. And for his funeral, of course, we arranged some very nice flowers. The transaction costs you see also there, and then you see that we spent this 28,565 euro and 27 cents, and that gives us a positive result of 10,568 and 33 cents. So here you can see the balance sheet of the last day of the previous year of 2022. So you can see the working account in the bank, 17,000. We have a savings account of 73,000. There is still some cash going somewhere, 40 euro. And we have the PayPal account as not so much on that, 267. And that is because on the last day of the year, I did a transfer of 12,000 to the working account of the bank, because we also had to do some payments, of course, for this event. So that adds up to 91,420 and 46 cents. And on the right side, you can see how we started. You saw that also on the first slide, 77,000. You saw this result of 10,000. We had the end capital of 86,779 euro and 94 cents. And we also received already the payments for the membership for next year after the October 1st. So that adds up, of course, also to 91,420 euro and 46 cents. Any questions so far? Good. Now we go to the proposed budget. Yes. So here we go to the membership fee. And you can see there's an increase, and we want to have more members, of course, and the regional representatives are going to work on that, and of course we want to do as good as possible with our websites and everything for you. So we are hoping and aiming for more members, so therefore, yes, 28,000 on that. And what I also should say is that we will keep the membership fee on 70 euros, because as you can see, we are a very good financial club, and therefore we don't have to raise it. And actually we want to propose that we do this membership fee 70 euro for 2 years in a row already. So for 2023 and for 2024. So I hope that you can approve that. Thank you very much. So what we also put in the budget for this year is 10,000 because still some people had to pay, of course, to be here for this officials forum. And also, they are going to pay for the next one at the end of this year. So we expect also an income from that. So that adds up to 58,000 euro. On the right side, you see what expenses we expect. So of course, we still have to pay a lot for this event, because as you can see, this event is well, nicely organized, and we have a nice hotel with a good room and everything well prepared, like coffee breaks, etc. And therefore, we still have to pay some money. The in-person maintenance course, that's the same, of course, so you can add up those two actually, so it's 31,000 euros. We have the board meeting. We do everything online, as you see, but now we have here an in-person board meeting, so therefore we have to spend some money on that. And of course, we also have to pay something for the General Assembly for next year, at the end of this year. Again, the EEF, the Sports Forum, and the General Assembly of the FEI is in our proposed budget. Some administration costs and the secretary costs, normally 800, but you saw that Ali didn't put in his invoice for last year. So of course we still want to pay, so therefore there's 1,600 in this budget. Transaction costs, we always have that. Internet and website is going to cost some money, and of course we want to continue with the IJOC promotional campaign to get more members and to have more people here and people benefiting from our club. So that all adds up again to 58,000 euros. And again, I want to ask if you have any questions. Yes. Yes, we will have income for 2024 because people are going to pay upfront. So the question is, we don't have income for 2024, but in fact we are going to organize again, like we had already also this year, the people paying upfront to coming for the seminar for 2024. And therefore this amount of money is in the budget. Yes. Thank you for the question. We don't know where it's going to be next year because we have several options and we are thinking what's the best for everybody. And if it's going to be in this region, perhaps in other regions sometimes. So we're still, well, negotiating. Thank you. So if there are not more questions, then we go over to the auditor's report and I hand over the microphone to Glenn. And I can do it? Okay. So the presentations of the auditor's report, and perhaps who is going to come? Charles? Put the letter on? Yeah, the letter. The letter is on the screen. Oh.
Right. Oh, it's not on the...
Yeah, sorry.
So I, the undersigned, Charles, and also Vivi Hansen, we examined the International Officials Club accounts for 2022. All the invoices and bank receipts were shown to us. Individual items of the accounts had been checked. And we are very satisfied that the resources of the club have been used in accordance with the statutes and the budget for 2022 for the purpose of the club. The financial year of 2022 shows a profit of €10,568.33. The capital in the IJOC was €87,779.94, and the balance at the end of the year, 31st of December, was €91,420.46. Consequently, we recommend to the General Assembly to discharge the Treasurer and the Board for the accounts of 2022, with thanks for their work for the club.
Thank you, Charles. Well, thank you very much. I think with this applause you have endorsed the accounts. And thank you very much for all your confidence. And well, I'll hand over to Glenn.
Thank you, Laura. Just want to add on to that comment that indeed, I think we as a board, we are now in a financially strong club situation. This money is not our money, it is your money, and the idea is that we, of course, manage this as good as we can. For example, we want to give it back to you as well, in a way of speaking, like tomorrow evening. That's also the reason why the club is taking half of the cost of the bill of the dinner, just as an example. So we want to manage it correctly. We are not a bank, so we do not have to raise for whatever reason in the very near future, and that's also the reason why we want to keep the entry fee, the membership fee, as it was today. And that's just a side comment. Discharge of the board. So you have seen the activity report of Ali. You have seen the financial details linked to that report, and the question now is if you can agree to give us discharge to discharge the board. Is there anybody who wants to vote against? Anybody who wants to abstain? Okay, so can I then assume that it is unanimously approved? Thank you very much. (2022) is now officially closed down in our books, which makes that we should be completely prepared for 2023, and we have spent already some time on ideas for our near future. So Ali, I hand it over again to you.
Thank you, Glenn. Our activity plan for this year. I would like to start by mentioning that the page I will show might seem pretty simple and short and straightforward. However, I can assure you that there has been a long thought process of our board into putting this all together. We have tried to prioritize and highlight what we would like to do, and this is also coming from the feedbacks of our membership base as well as the decision of our board. So the first one, prioritize focus areas for the IJOC members. That also includes the FEI appointments and the evaluation of officials, which you have already heard this morning that this is also one of the sensitive topics for our members. So it is only our homework and duty to follow on this issue. Secondly, follow up on the FEI officials per diem rule, simply because in case there's a need for fine-tuning, we still need to be on that issue and still talk with the FEI, talk with the stakeholders, finalize it for next year if necessary, or if everybody is happy, we can leave it as like that as well. However, it's our duty to follow up on that. Number 3, strengthen the involvement of the rule revision for 2024. As you know, this year there was not too much of an overhaul regarding the changes in the jumping rules. However, we might expect, together with back-to-play conditions after the pandemics, there might be certain and numerous changes, so we need to be actively involved. Number 4, enhance the partnership with the FEI on the education of the officials. You've already heard from Frank Spattinger that also this is one of the highlights, an important issue. Of course, we will be following that with the FEI, with our colleagues, but on your behalf as the IJOC board. In case you have any feedback during the year, we will be more than happy to take it from you, either through email, you know my emails just in case, or from our membership base, you can always reach out to us. Number 5, maintain the strategic planning working group and the regional representatives. You have seen that we have newly established both of the two concepts again, which are actively on the business now. Thanks to both groups, this is going, it's already on the way, and we would like to see the results all together. Number 6, an interesting one, create an institutional online library, including the history, presentations, membership information, finance of the IJOC. When you go onto our website, you see certain presentations, you see the information about our board members, etc. However, what we want is something more, something a little bit more complex, containing all the previous documentation, the history about the previous presentations, let's say, that were made 5 years ago. This should be an online institutional library that is presented to our members at their login page. So they should be able to go in and check whatever that was shared 5 years ago. That's our purpose. And I know that these are all ambitious plans. The more the activities are increasing, the more the volume of our transactions financially are also increasing. However, this is our plan as the board that we would like to tackle. With your agreement, can I ask for the approval of the activity plan for 2023? Thank you very much. This is regarding the board meetings, number of board meetings. It's only a plan. Obviously, it's not fixed on stone. We're planning around 10. And for the seminars and the webinars, again, some ambitious planning are around. This is only provisional, mind you. However, we would like to set certain activities already in your calendars so that you know what is coming already. For example, in February, we are planning something about the FEI insurance policy. Some of our officials are asking what kind of coverage is used for the FEI officials, under what context, etc. So we should be able to provide this information through a webinar, which will be presented by Claude Praz, the head finance accountant of the FEI. Similar others, like the veterinarian rules or the reporting duties for the president, let's say, that's also might be an interesting topic for some of our up-and-coming judges and stewards, where they will be, at some point, filling out reports. Exchange program, as Frank already mentioned, this will be also detailed in one of our webinars. Case studies, always a highlight. And again, I promise to keep the time zones as available as possible. And I'm looking on my left to our colleagues from Americas. But we will try our best. And an interesting one this year is International Grooms Association, live at show stables. Okay, we as officials, we already know what we're supposed to do, what we're supposed to expect, but let's also hear it from their perspective, from grooms' perspective, how their life is and how can we cooperate at times when needed. And we also made a bilateral agreement that one of us from board members also will present a presentation in their webinar to their grooms as well. And for the moment, in September, we're planning the FEI Longines ranking. This may not be directly involved with our job. However, it is only good to know how it is working. You know, when a rider comes, well, I need to gain points here, etc., etc. We should be able to follow to a certain extent. So overall, including but not limited to those, we will be trying to include more presentations where possible. However, in a nutshell, this is the provisional calendar for 2023. We will also publish this on the website of the IJOC, so you will have it there. I'm sorry that I was a little bit ambitious and anxious to ask for the annual activity plan, but can I ask again so that it is now confirmed for 2023? Thank you. I think I was too hungry or too quick, sorry, or thirsty. Thank you. And now I think I can leave at this item to Glenn. Yep. And I think it was already proposed by Laura. Yeah. Yep.
This was indeed already proposed and explained by Laura, so we can keep it like it is. That's what we plan to do for this year and for next year. Laura also proposed the budget. Now you know that the activities and so on. So they, of course, the budget that was made was linked to that activity plan. So there also we would like to have your approval of our proposed budget. Thank you. Next, we need a decision regarding the number of members on the board according to our statutes. And that needs a bit of an explanation this year. Last year again, also in 2022, we were with 9 board members, and they are all present here today, including me. End of the year, we had our yearly election cycle, and we have had 3 open positions, 3 people, namely Laura, Sharon, and Ali, who were ending their term. We had a call for new candidates, and both Laura and Ali, they have been presenting their candidature for another term. Sharon decided not to go for the next term, and therefore we would propose for 2023 that you agree that we can go down with 1 board member from 9 to 8, but we do have the intention for 2024 to move up again to 9 board members. So we want to open next year, like we used to do, also that additional position. So the question is if you can agree on that one as well. Before moving to our election process, as I mentioned already, we had 3 candidates that were re-eligible, let's say, and only 2 of them elected to continue. Sharon, she decided to not be a candidate anymore, and we would explicitly like to thank Sharon for all her contributions, because Sharon has been... Thank you. Sharon, please come here. Come with me. Sharon has been on the board now for 3 years, but it was her 2nd term. She has been already on the board for 3 years. She has been one of the leading ladies, I could say, of our social platform, and she has been helping around on our Facebook, Instagram. She was traditionally our microphone guider, or whatever I can call it, during those meetings here in person, and she has been, in general, a real added value for our club when she was serving the club like she did during those 2 terms. For sure, she is not gone, and she mentioned already that we can help, that we can still call her for help or whatsoever. But I would like to thank you, Sharon, for everything you did. Thanks,
Okay, before I go, we actually don't have a picture together as a board because we've been on Zoom. So, Chris, I'm nominating you because I know you take good pictures. You have to take a picture of the board, okay?
We do it when we close the meeting, if that's fine, because we're almost there. I mentioned about the election process, and we had an online vote again, like we had last time, and we have 2 scrutineers. We have Lorne and we have Mark. They both have been looking towards the online election procedure, so I think if one of you can just explain or go through the details, or can I just highlight them? Yeah, it's fine for you, okay. So this is the online voting system where we had in total 365 eligible voters. So our election body system has sent out emails to 365 people. Some of them received 3 reminders, but at the end of the day, 221 persons submitted a ballot through the system. And as you can see at the bottom, Ali, he received 195 votes, Laura 188, which means that they are both re-elected for another term starting this year up until 2025. And just as a side comment, now that they are re-elected, I want to explicitly thank them, because both Ali and Laura, they have been very instrumental in this event and in the whole preparation of the administrative aspects and the organization here on site, where also Laura did a pre-visit one day, even with hotel, to check everything and to get in touch. So I would like to explicitly thank Laura and Ali for their efforts on this one. We also need some new auditors for the 2023 cycle. We tend to keep one because then there's a transition. We would like to make it gender neutral, and we would like to make it good globally spread around, I would say. So if you agree, then we would propose that, if I'm not mistaken, Vivi, she is becoming the auditor together with David Distler. They both accepted already our request, so I hope that you can agree on this one as well. And then we're getting to the last 2 points: decision on all matters presented in the summons of the meeting. I think we have walked through all of them. I look at Ali to see if there's anything else. No, I think that we're fine with everything we needed to talk about. We didn't receive any other matter to talk about unless somebody has, of course, now a question for us to tackle, because we are more than welcome to share your thoughts, comments, or whatsoever. Of course, even after this meeting, it's not finished, and for sure later today, tomorrow, Sunday, we will be here and we can talk to you, even some people on Monday as well, or Tuesday. So whenever you have something to share this weekend or even later on after this meeting, please get in touch with us and do not hesitate to share your opinions. That being said, I think we're through it, and I would like to thank you all for this General Assembly. The target time was 6:30, and we're now 15 minutes earlier because the bus departure time is 7. Be on time downstairs in the lobby. At 7 we leave. If you're not there, you will have to eat on your own. Thank you.